Nobody has to get hurt, Brian. Only one person has to get hurt, Brian.
Number 10. And then there were fewer. Family Guy opened its 9th season with an Agatha Christie parody.
The hell are you guys doing here?
Well, we got an invitation to a dinner in my honor.
The main inspiration for the episode is Christie's seminal "And Then There Were None," but the episode lampoons the mystery genre as a whole. It's also every bit as violent, as numerous characters, including the popular recurring guest James Woods, are murdered by an initially unknown assailant.
You think you could just commit murder and get away with it? Quagmire loved that girl.
Easy.
Family Guy has jokingly killed off characters before, but in this case, most of the deaths remained permanent. As a result, And Then There Were Fewer notably marked the final time we saw Muriel Goldman, Derek Wilcox, and Diane Simmons alive. It was quite surprising to see them go, especially in such frightful, intense ways.
If anybody's gonna take that bitch down, it's gonna be me.
Number 9. The Hand That Rocks the Wheelchair. Evil Stewie is one of the most, evil characters in the history of Family Guy, and he serves as the main antagonist in this Season 9 episode.
So where are you from?
Newburyport, what's it to you?
Oh, I'm just always interested in where people are from. Everybody's got a story, that's what I believe.
Stewie comes to believe that he is growing soft, so he builds a device that will make him more sadistic. However, the machine instead makes evil Stewie. This character wears the inverted color palette of the normal Stewie and proves far more malicious.
Good Lord! I am a genius!
It's not long before he's hurting Brian, breaking the Kool-Aid Man, and killing civilians of Quahog. The concept alone is disturbing, but it's the grotesque visuals that make this episode so difficult to watch.
Evil Stewie? Wherever you are, if you can hear me, I'm completely defenseless right now.
Number 8. Brian the Closer. Family Guy has a penchant for displaying some truly sickening violence, and in this episode, the target is poor Brian.
Oh, hey, that's my old rope toy. I was wondering where that was.
Ew, what would you want that for? It's gross.
No, it's not. It's awesome.
The dog rediscovers an old toy, resulting in Peter wanting it for himself. He ends up strapping the item to his vehicle, but Brian holds on for dear life and ends up flying behind the car.
Just give me the rope. Nobody has to get hurt, Brian. Only one person has to get hurt, Brian.
Peter gets more reckless in his driving in an attempt to get rid of Brian, resulting in the dog heading face first into a fire hydrant. Not only is the injury horrific, but Brian spends part of the episode with a droopy, broken nose, no teeth, and a stuffy voice.
Oh, everybody, how was your day? What's for dinner? I'm starving.
It's all very gross, and it's quite troubling to watch a character in such obvious distress. Number 7. Brian Griffin's House of Pain. The episode may be called Brian Griffin's House of Pain, but the pain actually belongs to Stewie. The baby is happily strolling when he's knocked down by Chris, who is running away from Meg.
Well, I'm off to buy imaginary groceries.
He takes a nasty spill down the stairs and suffers a very significant head injury as a result.
Do you think he's okay?
I don't know. You idiot, this is your fault!
The visual is not only revolting, but Stewie then spends much of the episode in a coma-like state as Peter and the kids attempt to blame Lois for causing the wound.
So, question, how long has Stewie been unconscious?
The subplot is deeply disturbing, and viewers are forced to look at the nasty, rotting gash for a lot of the runtime.
Hey, I just found out it's November.
Number 6. Patriot Games. Stewie was a force of nature in the early episodes of Family Guy.
Have the money by tomorrow and there won't be any problems.
Huh?
Yeah, 24 hours.
Why? What happens in 24 hours?
I don't know. Not psychic, man. I'm just saying it would probably be better for everybody if you had the money tomorrow.
In this classic from Season 4, he becomes a bookmaker and takes bets on a boxing match between Mike Tyson and Carol Channing.
You've got Carol Channing, the actress, beating Mike Tyson, the boxer.
Brian wagers $50 on Tyson, believing that it's an easy win. But when Channing emerges victorious in a surprise upset, Stewie comes a-callin'.
So, it's been 24 hours. Got my money?
You know what? Just give me till next Friday. I'll have it for you.
Oh, that's funny. I could have sworn I said have it today.
Brian doesn't take him seriously and ignores his demands for money, prompting a frustrated Stewie to take aggressive action. He physically and psychologically torments Brian. And it can prove too much for viewers, especially squeamish ones. The tables later turn, resulting in even more brutality. Number 5. Internal Affairs. Peter Griffin and Ernie the Chicken go way back. It all started in Season 2 when Ernie gave Peter an invalid coupon.
Oh, yeah, and that nice chicken outside gave me this coupon.
I'm sorry, this is expired.
This prompted an irate Peter to attack Ernie, resulting in a gleefully over-the-top action sequence. The two have battled numerous times since then, with each fight getting more elaborate and destructive.
Oh, God, buddy, I'm sorry. You okay?
Perhaps the best one comes in Season 10's Internal Affairs, which sees Peter and Ernie fighting for approximately 5 whole minutes. Roughly 1/4 of the entire episode is dedicated to graphic violence, and many innocent people are hurt or die along the way. Not only do Peter and Ernie engage in a very gross battle, but we also see the collateral damage they cause, and it's not pretty.
Sorry.
Number 4. Screams of Silence. The Story of Brenda Q. Even by Family Guy standards, this episode contains a lot of upsetting material and is quite difficult to get through.
I didn't call them. They were called.
Oh, now you're calling me a liar in front of this cat?
I got another cat.
It's one of the most controversial episodes in the show's history, which is largely due to its sensitive subject matter. The Brenda Q in question is Brenda Quagmire, sister of Glenn. Brenda is subjected to vicious mistreatment from her partner Jeff, leading Glenn and the boys to take drastic action.
All right, look, when he comes back, I'm just gonna do it, okay? I'm just gonna point my gun straight at his head before he even knows what's going on.
As you can imagine, it's not exactly the kind of topic that warrants laughs. The plotline received widespread criticism, with many condemning the serious topic, the dramatic tone, and the brutal conclusion. It's certainly gruesome in a different, more depressingly realistic sort of way.
It's a little rough, Peter.
I didn't write it. Joe did.
I wanted it to sound real. It's gotta sound like he wrote it.
Number 3. Turban Cowboy. This is another wildly controversial episode, featuring a problematic storyline, a dark ending, and an infamous cutaway joke.
I am Mahmoud.
I'm Peter. You know, I never seen a hat like that before, so I'm very scared of it.
Let's go in order. The storyline itself is quite distressing, as Peter becomes friends with a terrorist named Mahmoud. Mahmoud, in turn, recruits Peter to help his organization blow up the Quahog Bridge.
Who is better, Hulk Hogan or the Iron Sheik?
The Iron Sheik?
Okay, he is one of us.
This leads to the dark ending, as Peter accidentally blows the bridge up with his cell phone, effectively, if accidentally, committing a horrific act.
Tell you what, let me call Horace and tell him to get our table ready.
Peter, did you just...
Let's go.
Finally, the episode features a grotesque cutaway joke that sees Peter driving his car through the Boston Marathon and harming numerous people. It's an onslaught of dourness, and many people were left offended by the episode's objectionable contents. Number 2. Stewie kills Lois, and Lois kills Stewie. This two-parter was a long time coming. Stewie was obsessed with killing Lois in the early seasons, and here, he's called out for his lack of action.
Who cares? You're not going to kill her anyway. You're going to bitch and moan, and then you're going to do what you always do. The minute Lois walks through that door, you're going to forget all about it, beg for your apple juice, go poop, and fall asleep.
He then runs a simulation in which he finally enacts his master plan. The result is, obviously, filled with death and misery.
What the hell are you... How did you get here?
Oh, there's a very simple answer to that. You drove me here, Lois, with all the indignities I've been forced to suffer day in and day out under your matriarchal tyranny.
Stewie seemingly kills his own mother, though she actually survives, and Peter is even arrested for the crime. In part 2, Stewie murders Cleveland, takes Brian, and becomes a dictatorial president of the world who does unspeakable things. His destructive reign comes to an end when he's killed by Peter.
It's just been revoked.
Peter, he didn't really set you up for that lethal weapon line. It doesn't really work here.
It's a lot of dismaying content to absorb, and the mere concept of family members hurting each other is gut-wrenching. Number 1. Road to the North Pole. Leave it to Family Guy to turn a holiday special into a journey of unending misery.
I am so excited to see Santa Claus.
Perhaps the darkest episode in the show's history, Road to the North Pole sees Brian and Stewie traveling to the titular land to see Santa. It's not what they were expecting.
I'm Stewie Griffin.
and I'm going to kill you.
Oh, thank God.
Santa is deathly ill. His factory is some type of nightmarish industrial hellscape. The elves are struggling, and the reindeer are, well, not exactly friendly. Brian and Stewie decide to take the mantle of Santa, only to commit a brutal home invasion that is traumatizing, to say the least. It's a story direction that only Family Guy could take, and it's all exceedingly gruesome.
First of all, we're not even Santa anymore. This has been a home invasion.